Good morning, beloveds. I'm a little early because I slept in a little bit and we're going to go to the park and it's going to rain. So, it's looking like the rain's going to move in around 10. So we're going to go to the park now. And then we are going to go feed our friend's cat and then we're going to come home and do nothing. Do nothing. Our Thanksgiving plans are bacon and waffles for breakfast and then enchiladas for dinner. And we're very excited about that. So that is what my day looks like. I hope that your day looks like what your dreams look like. If you dream of a big feast surrounded by a bunch of people, then I hope you have that. And if your dreams are to have a quiet day where it's just you and, a loved one or 2 or 3, then be that. We're gonna use the day to snuggle with our fur babies. So, that being said, it is November 24th. Our title is Love is Letting Go. Our first quote is, by this shall all people know that ye are my disciples, that ye have love one to another. The second quote is, the one who has learned to love all people will find plenty of people who will return that love. The Science of Mind, page 297. According to Erich Fromm, to love means to commit oneself without guarantee, to give oneself completely in the hope that our love will produce love in the loved person. We need great faith to truly love. We also need courage, the ability to risk, and the readiness even to accept pain and disappointment in order to love. When we feel love towards everyone, passerby, co-workers, acquaintances, friends, and those closest to us, we create an atmosphere of love in our lives. But when we are afraid our love will be taken advantage of, or that we will be hurt if our love is not returned, we cannot love fully. If we lack the courage to risk, life is a shallow experience. Love given to one person is not always returned to us directly. But when we love unconditionally, not expecting its direct return, yet knowing that loving does make a difference, Spirit, in its infinite wisdom, will recycle that love to us in another way. Divine love expresses through me, for I have the faith and courage to love. I risk loving and experiencing life to its fullest. I commit myself to love unconditionally, knowing that the love I give without strings will produce love in return. I am grateful that I can express love freely right now. And that is M.M. Marilyn Mooney. I was not expecting that based on the title. Although I do think it's appropriate for today, as seeing as is in 2022, today is Thanksgiving Day. And many people will be spending time with family, and family doesn't always agree. In fact, frequently family doesn't agree. And so what holidays are a time for setting aside our differences and just being together. Even family love isn't unconditional. And that's the really interesting thing when you think about it. You love them because they're your family. And frequently you hear talk about blood is thicker than water. And for many of us, that's not our experience. For many of us, we come from a family, and we can have wild disagreements on everything with our family. And sometimes what we find is that I'm going to use the word family, because the people that I bonded with out at fair sometimes are closer to me than some of my blood relatives, and no, don't get me wrong. I love my family. I do. But but when it comes to the experiences that I've chosen to have, and the adventures that I choose to have, and the things that I choose to do, these people out at the Renaissance Festival have more in common with me than a few members of my family. And so, and that's what it is. I love my family. I do love my family, but you know, sometimes the love that I get doesn't come from them. It comes from other people. And loving people is risky because it often is returned to us in ways that are unexpected. You know, when I'm talking about the Renaissance Festival, these are people that I see for 2 months out of the year, and then I don't see them for 10 months. And yet, when we come back together, it's like there was no time apart. You know, we're thrilled to see each other, and we pick up where we left off, and we love each other intensely for 2 months. And then it kind of all gets packed up and everybody goes about their own lives. And that's the really amazing thing about love. It's like there's no expiration date on it. Just because I don't see you every day doesn't mean I don't love you. And frequently we can love people like that a little more intensely. Because while there's no expiration date, there is a time limit. Yes, we can make time to be together other times, but frequently some of these people live all over the country, you know, or in other parts of the country, and we just don't cross paths that often. So, you know, and I think if you can view love as an adventure, then it's easier to accept the risks, because there are always going to be risks in love. And yes, there are going to be times that we're going to be hurt, and there are times that we're going to be disappointed. And it is what it is. And sometimes we've got to be willing to accept that in order to love fully. In fact, most of the time we've got to be willing to accept that. I would say that if we're always willing to accept it, it probably happens less frequently. And it doesn't mean that we go into it prepared to be hurt. Okay. What it means, we go into it knowing that if we are hurt, it's going to be okay. All right. And that's the difference when you're willing to risk love. And let me remind you, the Western definition of love is kind of narrow and limited. But if you go back and look at the Greeks, they either had 7 or 9 different kinds of love. So there's familial love and sibling love and friend love and brotherly love and, you know, and divine love. And divine love is mostly what we're talking about here, because it is from divine love that all the rest of the loves flow. All right. Yes. And there's romantic love too. So, but if we look at the divine love, that's the closest that we can get to unconditional love. As I said, when it comes to love, we are always conditional. We're always conditional. We love because they are our family. We love because they are friends. We love because they have things in common with us. We love because they are people. They are our brothers and sisters in spirit. It is conditional, and I think that we need to learn to be okay with that. That to not beat ourselves up for being conditional in our love. What we want to do is expand our conditions. All right. So be okay with the fact that your loves have conditions. Just expand your conditions. And I think she makes a good point in when we are willing to expand the conditions of our love will come back at us in unexpected directions. When we treat, especially when we treat for love, when we treat for romantic partners, that's where we don't want to put too many conditions on spirit. We don't want to say they have to be 6 foot tall with dark brown hair and bright blue eyes. Now, to be fair with you, I did just describe my partner. But we want to allow Spirit to bring all kinds of love into our life. And the way we can do that is by being open to all kinds of different kinds of loves. And knowing that even when we are hurt, because it does happen, that we will be okay. All right. Because we come from a divine source of love, that any damage done can be repaired, and we'll be okay. And that, I think, is the one thing that people need to understand in love. Yes, you can be hurt, but it'll be okay. You will get through it. And you will learn amazing things in the process. So, if you expect to get through this life without being hurt, especially in love, you're never going to live a full life. You're never going to live a full life. Love is risky. It is. And so, sometimes I think we have to let go of what our idea is. I think that's it. It's a Joseph Campbell quote. It's like we need to let go of what we thought our life was going to be and live the life that we have. So I encourage you to expand your conditions on what love is and what love looks like and how it feels and where it can come from and where you can give it. And the fact that you can love people and not really like them. I'm a big believer in that. Because you can absolutely love people and not like them very much. It's one of those spiritual principles that you're like, I'm a huge fan of Scooby-Doo. And so that was one of the things that Jesse occasionally teases me about is you'll come up against that principle and you'll go, the idea that you can love people and not like them very much. But that's where when we do that, we hold space for them going, well, you are a beloved child of God. You are spirit. You are my sibling in spirit, and I see you, and I hold the space for you to know who you are. And you can do it from over here. So as you move through this Thanksgiving experience with your family, and be it your family of blood or be it your family of choice, remember, love is a risk, but love is also the greatest adventure you will ever have. And I include all kinds of love in that. So not just romantic love, family love, familial love, brotherly love, environmental love, because I think that's one of them. I just can't remember what that one's called. Divine love. And the greatest adventure of all is to learn to love yourself. So please take up that adventure. I definitely encourage the adventure of learning to love yourself. Especially when we live in a society that frequently tells us that we're not lovable. And yet here we are. So, okay. And the mission today, should we choose to accept it? I love how she has this, we need great faith to truly love. We also need courage, the ability to risk, and the readiness to even accept pain and disappointment in order to love. When we feel love towards everyone, we create an atmosphere of love in our lives. When we are afraid our love will be taken advantage of, or we will be hurt if our love is not returned, we cannot love fully. If we lack the courage to risk, life is a shallow experience. So there, the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to have the courage to risk, especially when it comes to love. and have that full, rich, amazing experience that we are here to have as godlings. All right. So that is the mission today, should you choose to accept it. And then the other mission is to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, especially if you are one of the people who's going to spend a good bit of time in the kitchen. In fact, I know a whole lot of people who've already been in the kitchen for several hours. I choose not to do that. That is the loving, kind, and compassionate thing that I'm doing for myself. We made plans. We're ready to go. And so we've got everything we need. I hope you do too. So whatever it is that is loving, kind, and compassionate for you today, I will say that today being Thanksgiving, sometimes the most loving, kind, and compassionate thing you can do is close your mouth. And sometimes the most loving, kind, and compassionate thing you can do is to speak up. All right? It's both. And I would say that you have the divine guidance to know when you need to do what. So that's where I'm going to leave you with loving, kind, and compassion today. Today is a day that you definitely want to practice on yourself. Therefore, you can practice on everybody around you. You are your best test subject. And I would always recommend the deep breath. Especially if you're going to choose. Sometimes we take that big deep breath and we think we're going to say something, and then we realize that, you know what? It's not loving, it's not kind, it's not compassionate, and we bite it. And sometimes we take that deep breath, and that pause gives the divine the moment to arrange the words that are going to fall out of our mouth. And when you need people to hear you, that deep breath is one of the best things that you can do. So, practice on yourself. All right. And today of all days, remember, you will never look in the eyes of someone that God does not love. All right. Especially your own. But if you're spending time with family, so, love is a risk, but it's one worth taking. Okay. So love, kind, compassionate. It is about making room for joy. So today, maybe if you need to, eat dessert first. Okay. I'm a big believer in, finding the moments of joy. And when you're spending time with, this is a good day to practice that part of the loving, kind, compassionate self-care. Find the moments of joy. Okay. I'm going to then, I do encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body today, especially if you're going to indulge and possibly overindulge, because that's what Thanksgiving looks like for a lot of people. Do something to get that metabolism going so you can have that extra piece of pie. I also encourage you to drink plenty of water. Whatever else you do decide to drink today, do drink plenty of water. Hydration, everything will work better. I do encourage you also to, get some bright light early in your day. And you know what? If you sneak in a nap or two today, that's a good thing too. All right. So I always say you'll have more energy during the day, but hey, it's Thanksgiving. Take a nap. It is science about the bright light early in the day, resetting all those hormones. And then, in the words of Ernest Holmes, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven right here, right now. Okay. It is a superpower. It is a state of mind. It is a state of consciousness. No matter what is going on today, you have the power to create heaven for yourself, even amidst your family, especially amidst your family. Because you are connected to the divine source of love and kindness and compassion. Always. So plug into that divine love, bring it in, open the windows of your soul, and then take him as advice today. Look for the good and praise it. There's going to be a whole lot of it around you. There's going to be a whole lot of it around you. So you're going to be surrounded by people that love you, that you love, even when they make you crazy. Okay. That is what I know. Here's where I get to do the social media part. We are Creative Life Spiritual Soda, Creative Life Spark. I am the Running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. We've got great content for you. We try and, fair is almost over, so hopefully my content creation will go back up. And then I will, I don't know what I was about to say. If you want to know what's going on with the center, email info@creativelife.org. You did not miss the Thanksgiving Eve service. We have moved it to Sunday. We will do it this right after service. So we'll have the service for you, cut that broadcast, and then open up the Zoom. So if you want in on that, email info@creativelife.org, and we'll let you in. We'll let you into the Christmas Eve, or the Thanksgiving portion of our service. So, and I will also tell you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day. I was going to encourage you to have all that. A turkey day or a ham day, or in our case, enchiladas day, a eat enough day to make yourself happy, a pumpkin pie day, or whatever dessert you choose, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. All right, beloveds. I don't know what I was about to say. All right. Take care of yourself. Know that you're loved. I am sure Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you at 9 a.m.-ish. Trying to figure out how I'm going to work tomorrow. So take whatever else you do. Know that you are a beloved child of God. Know that you are a divine spark. Know that you are loved. Know that you are spirit in motion and that you are God in action. All right? You are a godling. So, hold on to that today. All right, beloveds, take care of yourself. I will see you next time.